opportunity because not everybody's around here. A little bit of my background in statics, just so you know, I'm not coming at this as an inexperienced professor. I did do, I was an SI leader at Clemson University, supplemental instruction for statics and dynamics and combined course where I had up to 30 students at SI sessions at a time. So I had a lot of experience working with students and knowing what they struggled with. I also taught the follow-on course to that, mechanics and materials at Clemson, so I had a good understanding of what students struggle with and where their limitations were. I taught the course in the fall and spring this past year. I had good results, good feedback. The course ratings were good. So, you know, I say that not to say that I'm a good teacher, but to say I wouldn't approach this if I didn't have this background. I wouldn't have done this for the other 2 courses I teach. I wouldn't even begin to think about it. But statics, I felt like it was in a good situation. I wanted to attempt the online version. And also it fit well with the return of One Youth initiative. So everything kind of came together. I talked to Ron DeLapp about it, and he said, let's do it. And so we went for it. So developing it, I started mid-spring to develop the course and some of the ideas. I teach a design methods class, and my research is in design methods and design theory. So I went through a systematic design process. It was very fast and not real structured, but more structured than not. I did some student surveys, looked at lots of different technology, ended up settling on an iPad with Doceric desktop, if you've ever seen that, and kind of just decomposed the problem into what are we trying to address. And it kind of boiled down to communication for me. I had this course, it had this content I wanted to teach. How do I communicate that effectively to the students? Because I know that if I video myself lecturing 80 minutes times 30 lectures, they're going to take these lectures and they're going to fast forward through to the spot that they think they need to know. They're going to write down what they think they need to know, and they're going to miss the content. So it needed to be something that they wouldn't just throw away. It needed to be useful for them, and that was really a challenge. You know, I don't want to fit into their perception of what's good, but I want them not to just ignore what I'm trying to tell them. So how do we use technology effectively? How do we communicate this? Assessment was kind of a big deal. I wasn't real sure how to do that. And a big thing was I wanted to improve the content from previous semesters. There's a lot of, questions about whether online is useful. I felt if I could improve something, well, if I missed that mark, maybe I'm at least on par with everything else. It'd be nice to improve some things. So I think there are some advantages of online. There will be some advantages. I think I found some, but there's a lot more to explore. The design I ended up going with, what I ended up doing was I broke the course down into topics rather than days. So rather than saying day 1 through 30 like I do in my normal schedule, it was topics. So that was one advantage of the online system, is that you can focus on topics, and the students know what content they're supposed to know at the end of the topic, and we're not breaking topics over days. So the content topics could be 60 minutes worth of content, it could be 30 minutes worth of content. It really just depended, and that's an advantage of the online format. It provides that flexibility. So there were 20 topics that ended up with statics. Each topic had 1 to 2 lectures with it, about 10 minutes long. This was a video screen capture with some audio, and 2 to 3 examples per lecture. So the way it typically worked, there'd be a content topic. It might be like vectors. I'd have a 10-minute video introducing it, 2 examples on it, 10 minutes apiece. Then a follow-on lecture that builds on that, 2 to 3 examples that are more advanced. Then they'd have an assessment. I'll kind of walk through this real quick. So then they'd have an assessment, and then they do some problems. So the format I use to develop this, I have a stack of notes. So these are my notes for statics, 100 pages or so of these. I'd look through it. I'd say, well, there's a lot of writing here. If I write that out on the screen, students are going to get bored. So let me go ahead and type that up for them. So a lot of procedural and definition types of things. I'd type up, I put it in a PowerPoint slide, and then from the slides I'd generate these videos. The slides also contain problem statements and pictures that I got from the publisher for all of the example problems. So I do this, I generate a PowerPoint. Each slide individually I'd record using Doceric desktop, and I can show you that later after. We don't really have time now, but probably 2 minutes for a slide. I just do 2 minutes. If I messed up, it's only 2 minutes wasted, so I do it again. And then I actually sent it all off to Tommy Gober, who edited it all, which was really awesome. He went through and take out all my ums and uhs, make me look like I knew what I was talking about, and piece together. And actually, if I was writing and I was silent, he'd speed that up. So it really came out nice and pretty professional looking. So it was pretty convenient, pretty easy for me to record these things. And I would also pause it as I went, so I could really gather my thoughts, think about what I want to say, and I probably recorded 30 seconds at a time when I was doing this. So then I had to create a self-assessment. Students self-assessed at the end of each topic to know, are they ready to tackle these homework problems? And then from these slides, I actually generated PowerPoints, PDFs that they could print and they could take notes as I went. So they'd have a slide, and when I'd fill up the slide, I'd just start another slide for them to record and copy down everything I was writing. So if we can have a second, I don't know how much time we have. I'll show you a quick video. You probably won't hear the audio, but I post everything on YouTube. Sorry for the suggested videos. Let's see if this works.
So is there a password on your YouTube?
You know what? They're unlisted, so I can send you links. Let me just pull up the. Let's go.
It's right behind you, Ben. It's the volume on the wall.
It's not plugged in.
Oh.
But don't listen to the audio. You don't want to hear my voice anyways. So this, you'll see in a minute just how I don't write that fast. That's Tommy speeding it up. I'm breaking this problem down into different cases. You'll see that we're trying to figure out when these blocks will move. B could tip, A and B could slide together if you're pulling on this rope over here. There's a lot of different scenarios. I'll set that up. And I actually would pause it, or say pause the video, work it, and you'll see the screen flip. Tommy would take that, and that would indicate, hey, you probably should have worked ahead at that point, and now you're coming back to the video to resume and see the answer. So I can send links to that if you're interested, but we won't go through the full thing. So the feedback, I had 12 students, 3 of them ended up dropping. Some of them were not doing well in the course, others were doing well, but this was a very fast-paced course. It was 7 weeks long, and they were on vacation things, and it was just not working out. The grade distribution was pretty similar to other semesters, although 9 data points is not enough to say, but there were actually more A's than usual, but there were several students who were repeating. I think that was helpful for them, that they had seen a lot of this content before. We did put together a survey. Colleen helped me a lot with this. So these are a few of the questions that we asked, and we got good results out of it. These are the number of students that responded with strongly disagree all the way up to strongly agree. So the lectures and the examples were the 2 different video type of things that said they greatly assisted me in learning the course. They strongly agree. 6 students responded to this out of the 12 that we surveyed. I was really worried about this question, but I let Colleen put it in there. I found the videos boring and ineffective. I was happy to see that only 1 didn't strongly disagree. That's good. I hope no one else fills out the survey at this point, because I don't know if I can handle it. But this was what was interesting. Overall, I feel that I would have learned more if I had taken this course in a traditional format. And the interesting thing is you get the whole spread, which is kind of expected. And it really, I think what it comes down to a lot is the students that are taking the course, are they ready for something like this? And so you have some that strongly agree that this was not their best course. They wish they had been on ground, and that's understandable. But some of them just strongly disagree that this was a good format. And I know one student in particular had been retaking this, and he was able to replay these videos over and over and over again, which you wouldn't get in a normal classroom. So there are some advantages in that sense, and there's a lot more I feel like that we haven't tapped into yet. That as we explore online, that I think there's a lot that can come out of it. So some of the outcomes, I don't know how I am on time. I think online tools can really enhance learning if we use it correctly. And one really cool thing that I have now is I have my whole course online. And so actually what I'm doing this semester with Colleen's help is a research study and experiment with the 2 sections of statics I'm teaching. 1 section will get supplementary materials. So if I run out of time, I can give them extra videos, or I can flip the classroom and do a demo in class and tell them to come prepared, having watched a video. So there's a lot of things that I have at my disposal now, having already developed this course. So I'm excited about exploring those. The other thing is that really proper planning and resources are required. Resources is important. I mentioned Tommy Gober editing all these things. It wouldn't be the same if I hadn't had him to do that. And some of the other resources. So LeTu was really good at providing these things for me as we're trying to get engineering and see how that might land in the online format. And then success is dependent on the students a lot. These students, they surprised me. They were really motivated, a lot of them. They kept up with the content. I felt bad, honestly. I kept giving them more and more assignments. It was every day, and these assignments, it was going twice as fast as a semester. But they kept up. You know, I'd give them extensions if they needed it. I was flexible with them, but they still had to stay on schedule because honestly, I had to get out of town by a certain date and to go on vacation. So there was a real deadline, my deadline. But they were really good, and like I said, they were motivated. I think that made a big difference. There are a lot of open issues, and some of y'all probably know how to deal with this a lot better. Academic integrity is a bit of an issue. I had them have a trusted adult proctor their exam and timed and things like that, but it's still that's a big issue, especially as we expand. Devotionals, I didn't figure out a good way to do that. I had them post and I tried to kind of supplement their daily devotionals, but that's somewhere I'd like to look into more. Office hours were not a huge success. Not many people attended them. We tried it with Google Hangouts, and then the pace of the course I mentioned, it was a 7-week course. I'll probably extend that later on. But that was just basically my experience. I wanted to share it. I wanted to leave some time for questions, so hopefully I did that. So any questions at this time?
You have a couple of minutes for questions.
I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
This looks like a huge amount of preparation for this class. This is the first time you've done this. Is the second time you do it, would your preparation be easier because you've been through it once? Or?
You mean for online? If I
Yeah.
taught it online again? Yeah, I wouldn't record. If I did this again online, I'd probably re-record some of the lectures. I'd shoot for maybe 10% to improve, but yeah, I couldn't re-record. There are a few things I might improve on. I'd actually like to add in some hands-on demos that I wasn't able to do. But as far as teaching it again, the time commitment would be probably a third of what it took to develop this.
Hey Ben, just to follow on that question, I thought this is the question we were going to ask, was if you took another course, a different course,
Oh, okay.
online, how would your time maybe be more efficient, having just done it once?
Oh, having done it? Okay. It depends on the course. If I were to do something like dynamics, which is very similar, or mechanics and materials, which is similar to statics in terms of problem-based and this sort of thing, it would take, I mean, I could cut the time for development by a lot, because a lot of the time I spent was understanding the technology and figuring out the best technology. So it would probably be reduced by maybe 20
But I heard that the comment doesn't go in the direction that the contract will change. Every time you're gonna pay less and less money. They're gonna pay you back for developing the.
No, but if I taught like a design methods course, I mean, I don't think I wouldn't be ready to do that. But it would be a totally different use of technology. It'd probably be more videos of me, with a totally different approach, and would take a lot of time. But yes.
I was just going to say, are you all looking at sharing your videos? Like, for example, if somebody else is going to teach this course in the future, are you all going to have a pool of videos so that somebody doesn't have to reinvent the wheel?
I was hoping you would help.
That would be my
Yeah,
suggestion.
I don't see these videos as mine. I mean, I was, you know, this was a LeTourneau deal, so however they want to be used is fine, and I've offered them to Scott Anson to teach his section of statics this semester. So it's more of an exploratory, see how things go, and are we going to open them up to the whole world, or is it something we want to keep because people pay to see them type of thing? So it's not mine. I don't know how to handle that. So.
All right, let's take a